Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. In this video I thought I would give a general update of where I'm at with my DIY batteries and then lead into a little bit about the cell level fuses that I use and the other fuses that I use and the other protection systems that I use for safety of my DIY Powerwall. I'm going to be deliberately shorting out some older battery modules that I need to repurpose to show what happens with the cell level fuses that I've got, and hopefully do some slow motion shots so you can get good detail of just exactly what happens. So without further ado, let's get into that. So these batteries are the ones that used to be in the wooden frames. There's a picture here of what they used to look like, but they were taking up a lot of floor space here in my shed. So I decided to join the three frames all together, the packs from all three frames together, to make it into one big wall, basically, and turn it into one single battery. So that's what I've done, mounted on the wall, and sure enough, yeah, I've got a lot more floor space now. I still haven't quite finished the wiring on this. I mean, it is working, but this cable here is way too thin. So I'm going to run some proper thick gauge 16mm square wire to put that in place. But I'm waiting for a one of these e-bike BMSs to arrive before I do that. So for now, I'm just relying on my software solution that scans the voltages reported by each of these DIY BMS modules to decide if any one of the packs gets too low or too high, and it will then stop the charger up there from charging the batteries any further, rather than relying on a hardware solution like that one. So, but as soon as that arrives, I shall finish putting that in place, and then this power wall will be all complete. I still want to mount these DIY BMS modules in a nicer fashion than having them just hanging there, and also these communications cables. I need to tidy all that up, and there's various wires hanging down in front of it that all need to be disconnected and moved. But that's part of what's going on there. This battery is working fine, but again, this communications cable just needs to be tidied up and moved. And with the other battery, also want to slightly change the communications cables on the DIY BMS modules for that one. I've got 7 of the new modules for the bottom half made now. I've been making them slowly in the background. There's 7 that I've got completed already. I've still got another few more to make up here, and a few more of these old little blocks will be repurposed like this to make those. And it's because of that that I've been looking at the fuses, and what gave me the idea for this week's episode. The cell fuses on these batteries, in order for me to take these apart, I basically have to cut every single one of these very fine cell fuse wires, and I thought, rather than cut them, why don't I dead short the battery to show just how these fuses work and how they help to protect the battery. Firstly, I'll just show that the module is all working correctly, and see what voltage it's showing. So there, that's at 3.9 volts. So now let's see what happens when we dead short the battery. Ready? Let's look at the voltage now, and yeah, there you go. It's
Zero.
Dead.
So that's good. That proves that they do work.
So here's another one done in slow motion, just so you can see the fuses burning up. And here's another one in slow motion, but this time I've got the multimeter connected permanently, so you can see it's currently reading just over 4 volts, and then after I short out the battery, you can see the voltage drops to 0. This one's even slower, and looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. Now I should just add that I fuse both sides of my cells. So here you can see the positive side, there's the little wires there, fuse wires, and if I turn it over you can see that they're also fused with the same wire on the bottom as well. Now you could, I suppose, just put a thicker wire on the bottom and just fuse the top, but I have had situations where I've accidentally dead shorted some of these batteries when I was new to this and I first started making them, and it was just on one of the terminals, so actually if I hadn't have had it fused on both sides it could have caused a big problem. So I would recommend fusing it at both ends with the same gauge wire. Okay. This one I also need to repurpose, so let's dead short this one as well. So let's have a look what has blown. So you'll find that with some of these, you see that one is still attached. If I pull on the wire, it's still attached, which means for this blue one that the fuse wire at the bottom probably blew. And there you can see it has blown. So one of them will blow before the other. So in this case, this green one at the bottom here, it's still attached, it's not blown. So I would expect that on the top it's gone. And yep, it's blown. You can see that each one of my packs always has an inline fuse. There's one there, there's the inline fuse here for this one, and there's the inline fuse for this one. And the idea is that if you pull too much current from the pack, that this fuse will blow before all of these tiny individual cell fuses blow. Because if all of those blow, that's a lot of work to get that pack back working again. So what I want to happen is that this small fuse, blade fuse, blows first and disconnects the pack and protects it, and then I can just buy a new blade fuse, sort out whatever the problem was, and get it back in operation. Whereas soldering 40 of these fuse wires on each side takes a long time, is a real pain. So these cell fuses are really just to protect against a cell that may go bad, and all the other cells dumping their energy into this cell and causing it to overheat and potentially catch fire. So the idea is, if this cell went bad and had a dead short inside it, for example, all of these cells would start dumping their energy into this cell, and this fuse would blow and disconnect this cell from the pack, and there would be no further harm. So here is one of the blocks where it's still connected, and what I'm going to do is I've designed these packs so that I never take more than half an amp from each of these cells, and this very, very thin wire here, which is this wire, so this is 0.1 millimeter tinned copper wire, and it's incredibly fine. It's like the thickness of a hair, and yeah, so the idea is that will blow at about an amp or so, and so I intend to only ever take, for example, from this block there's 20 cells here, so if I'm going to take half an amp from each cell, that's a total of 10 amps. So I want to be able to safely take 10 amps from this cell, but if I go any more than that, what I really want to happen is to have a 10 amp fuse in the blade holder, and I want the 10 amp fuse to blow first before any of these individual fuse wires blow. So what I thought I would demonstrate, just to see if that is working correctly, is I have I don't know if you can see that. Number 10 on the top of there, that is a 10 amp blade fuse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the holder here, and then I'll dead short the battery, and this fuse should blow without any of these little fuses blowing. So let's see if that works. Okay, first let's check the voltage, just to make sure that we've got a voltage on this battery. So it's at 3.79 volts. Let's just make sure we have just check that this I think my meter's on the way out. Right, let's just check that we've got continuity through this fuse. Yep. So that fuse is good. Okay. So now let's put the cover on the fuse. There's the blade fuse. Just keep it safe for when it blows, and then let's dead short this and see what happens. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, none of those have blown. Let's just check we've still got voltage. Yep. I don't know if you could see that. Let's just check it again. Yep, so still got voltage. Now let's see if we've got continuity through the fuse. No. So it sounds like that fuse has blown and done what it should do. let's just open this up and have a look at that fuse. And you can see, hopefully, in the middle there that has blown. So that's perfect. And that is exactly what I would want to happen with my main packs, and why I fuse the packs individually, because that will protect me from having to redo all of this work should there be a problem. Okay, so now I need to blow the fuses on this thing anyway rather than cut them, so let's just dead short this one as well while we've got it here, and just show that these will go. Ready? Ooh. Now, again, we should have, oh, lovely smell, should have that 0 volts. That's it, dead. Now I know there's some other channels that have done some experiments with cell level fuses, and I believe that a lot of those use fuses that will blow at much higher ratings than the ones that I've chosen for my batteries. These are old batteries from old laptops. You know, you don't know what kind of life they've had, so I think if you're going to build a power wall out of these, you know, and you want it to last a reasonable amount of time and keep it reasonably safe, then try to, you know, use them gently. So for my power wall, I always designed these with the idea of never pulling more than ½ an amp from each cell. Now they're capable of more than that, I know, but to treat them gently and to make them last long and for safety, I only want to pull ½ an amp from each cell. Now when you've got as many battery packs as I've got, that's not really a hindrance. You know, each of these packs behind me here has 80 cells in it, so that's 40 amps I can pull from this pack, and then I've got another 2 just the same as that, so that gives me effectively 120 amps worth of draw, which is a lot, and more than I need to draw, more than my inverter is capable of, you know, converting into AC. So it's absolutely fine, and I'm hoping that will mean that these batteries last for a very long time. So to protect my packs, I also use one of these e-bike BMSs. Not this sort, this is quite a low powered one. I use one with a much higher rating than this. But I don't use them for the balancing functions, because the balancing functions in these typically cut in to balance the packs when the cells hit 4.2 volts, and I only charge my packs to 4.05 volts, so the balancing circuit would never cut in, and that's what I use the DIY BMS modules for. These are used to just do the balancing function when because you can set what voltage you want it to balance at. So I've got mine set at 4.05 volts. But what I do use these for is overcharge protection and over discharge protection. So if any of the cells do happen to go above 4.2 volts, this will cut the pack off. Or if they get over discharged and get down to I think it's 2.5 volts, again this will cut the pack off and protect it. Obviously for safety, you do not want to be charging cells above 4.2 volts because there's a very high chance they'll get extremely hot and catch fire. So that's why I use one of these, as well as all the fuses. And I also have a software service running on my Raspberry Pi that's monitoring the output from these DIY BMS modules, which also reports the voltage of the cells. And if that also detects that any of the packs have gone too high or too low, it will also switch off the charger inverter to protect the pack. But just in case that software service fails, because sometimes it crashes or whatever, I like to have a physical hardware
based system to just do that, and it has been used in the past. I have had a situation where one of the 14 packs that makes up the 14S got its fuses blown, so it was registering almost no voltage, and so then the inverter was trying to charge the other 13 up to the same voltage that 14 would normally yield, so it meant that the 13 packs were being overcharged, and one of these, detected the fact that they'd hit 4.2 volts and cut the pack off. So definitely worth having some kind of physical protection like this as well, if you're going to be making your own battery systems.
I would definitely recommend putting cell level fuses on each of your 18650s. Definitely if you're using old recycled ones. Different story, I think, if you're using brand new cells, but yeah, if you're using these, and if you want them to last a long time, and you're making a big enough pack, then go for a really small fuse for the extra safety. I watched HBPowerwalls video. I'll leave a link to that in the description, where he dead shorted some I think they were 40p packs that had quite thick cell level fuses on them, and he got some of them to blow, but some of them stayed connected, and he was still getting voltage after he'd dead shorted those batteries. Now I don't want a situation like that, so that's why I chose very fine wire for my cell level fuses, and as you've seen in the examples, every time I've dead shorted it, it's completely dead afterwards. It's blown at every single fuse, and that's exactly what I would want. So yes, hope you found that interesting. Stick around for more content, there'll be more coming. Please do like, comment, share this video with someone who's building a Powerwall. They might find it interesting. Please do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.